What's going on, Spitfires? Welcome back to another episode of the Spitfire Podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Lemunyon, the Spitfire Coach, and 2020 is almost gone. But that does not mean that this year goes away. Nope, we can't Control-Alt-Delete it. We can't erase what happened. And in fact, I don't think we want to. I keep hearing from people, I can't wait for this year to be over. I can't wait for 2021. And my question to them is, well, what do you think is going to be different? Literally, when you go to bed on the 31st and you wake up on the 1st, or maybe you're going to stay up and count down to the new year, what do you think is going to be different? So just look at that for a second of envisioning a number change in a date. And by the way, 2021 looks super duper weird when you write it out. I've been booking stuff in 2021 and I'm like, you're a little weird. But we're all a little weird. I had this conversation with one of my clients yesterday, and she was asking me a ton of questions, really great questions. It was kind of like a rapid fire, like, let's pick the brain of the coach, because she was really curious about, what I thought of certain things. And one of the topics that came up was around resolutions, about this idea of how do we set goals, or if you're one of those people that's like a resoluter, meaning you're looking for other people's resolutions and you're like, I have a resolution, I'm going to do it. And then it lasts for 2 weeks and falls off. And then you're kicking yourself in the butt wondering what happened. So we talked about different strategies of what is a resolution, what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And we talked about these different methods of using journaling. And the reason that I was bringing up the earlier point is, she said, well, won't I look crazy if I'm just writing to myself? And I said, honestly, if you're not a little crazy after 2021, did you really get through the year? Or were you just hiding out? Maybe you're in one of those like self-preservation tanks that you Rip Van Winkle this year. Could you imagine? Could you imagine just being isolated and then coming back and being like, what the hell happened? Where am I? What is this? So let's talk about resolutions. Let's talk about what we can do, what needs to go away, and how you can really take ownership in 2021, but honestly, how you can take ownership right now. And if you listen to the previous episode that I did with Kaz Gaddis, we talked about vision boards, creating a plan, creating an integrated approach that lines up what it is that you want with actions and strategies, and being really specific with what you want to see. So if you haven't already, check out that episode. I think it's episode 125. I might be wrong. But check out Kaz Gaddis, C-A-Z as in zebra, G-A-D-D-I-S, or you can go to Vision Board in a Box. She has some great tools, great suggestions. She is awesome. And she's also an author in the ABCs of Awesome Living. But let's talk about resolutions. Where did they come from? Why are they here? Why are we still killing ourselves with them? So a resolution is something that you resolve to do, that you are saying, I want to accomplish this. I want to give this away. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to have this type of behavior. So maybe it's around weight loss. Maybe it's saying, I want to eat more vegetables. I want to eat less sugar. I want to move my body more. I want to stop watching crap television and not getting off the couch. If you notice, a lot of those things are about stopping doing things. It's about a negative behavior that we're trying to abruptly stop, or we don't like it about ourselves. But I want you to start peeling the layers back. What is it about this behavior? What does it signal to you? Well, if I eat sugar, I feel lethargic and I feel lazy. And when I feel lazy, I don't feel productive. I don't feel like I'm getting things done. And when I do that, I know that I'm not living to my best potential. I know that I'm not moving things forward. I know that I'm feeling stagnant. And when I feel that way, I feel worthless. I don't value myself. And I kill my self-esteem. So that was us peeling it back. And you may think, it's just some sugar, Lauren. Why are we being so serious about this? Well, because things are never just what they seem to be. You may think that they're a surface level behavior, but underneath we are sending major signals to ourselves, major limiting beliefs, major labels, major judgments every day to ourselves. So even in saying, I want to get off the couch, I want to stop doing this, we are bringing more attention to the behavior, which is in turn getting internalized into who we are. So I want you to think at the top of this podcast, I asked, what is going to be different next year? Who do you want to be? How do you want to feel about yourself? How do you want to feel about the people around you? How do you want to feel about the work that you're doing? How do you want to feel about the legacy that you're building? And if you're not thinking that deeply, it is time to start, because guess what? We have been on autopilot for far too long. We have been waiting for other people to define what success is for us. We've been waiting for people to say, do these 5 things and then you'll be happy. And guess what? We do the 5 things and we're still not as happy as we want to be, because we don't even know what happiness is. We don't even know what it looks like, because it's a temporary feeling. It's a trigger of endorphins, of those good feeling serotonin hormones that don't last, because unless they are medicated, it's not sustainable. But what is sustainable are the thoughts that we put into our head, the actions that we do that line up to the life that we want to have. So this is where I want you to stop with resolutions. Just stop. And instead, focus on what your intention is. What is the one thing, the one word that is at the center of you at the core? And if you need to dig a little bit deeper, go and do that. If you say, I want to be happy, well, what does that mean? If you're using general words, you need to define what they mean for you. Not what I think of them, not what your neighbor thinks of them, not what your Facebook friends think, which are not real friends, by the way. You probably have about 10 friends that you actually will go see in the next 5 years. Focus on yourself. Stop looking for the external validation from sources that are not real. The people that are around you want to tell you what you want to hear. You need to listen to yourself. So this is where the crazy sauce comes in. Are you ready? You're going to write the word of intention and have a conversation with yourself. Ask questions about it. What does that look like? How does that show up? When I'm honoring this, what's different about what I'm doing? What does a daily morning practice with this intention look like in the morning? When I'm not honoring this, how do I feel? You see, we're either in flow or friction. We are either moving towards this alignment or we are fighting it. We're in friction. We're creating that conflict because there's a rub. So anytime that you feel like you're starting to derail, you know when that's happening. You might pay attention to it when you've gone off the rails. But guess what? You can get right back on. You just have to shift back. Shift back to the activities, the mindset, first and foremost, of who it is that you are. This amazing, compassionate, empathetic, giving, amazingly awesome person. Who are you at the core? What are you doing? When you look back on this life that you had, imagine it's your funeral. Imagine, what do you want people to say about you? What do you want to be written in your obituary? You get to determine that here and now. We don't need to wait until we're in our 70s or our 80s to start living out. We don't need to wait till we're, retired from our job or we find our dream job. The dream job happens when you start living in your ideal, when you start believing in your ideal, when you start seeing yourself as the ideal. It's only the external comparisons, it's only the external messages that make us question it, that make us challenge who we are. And whenever that happens, whenever there is conflict, when there is chaos, always look at who benefits from the chaos. Who wins? Who gains by you feeling less than? And that is the key to all of this. Resolutions come from outside. How many of you put a resolution out there and post on Facebook? And you're waiting for the response of, you got this, go ahead. That is not accountability. That's external validation. So I want you to keep this inside, to own this, to honor this, to cherish this. This is for you. Your life that you are creating is for you. And when you are aligned, everyone around you gets the benefit of it, including you. But you have to first take care of yourself, because if you jump that step, if you make it about other people, it is not sustainable. Even the most charitable people, when they're not taking care of themselves, they burn out, they get sick, they have to take off for weeks or months, or they quit. because they get burnt out. So this is where self-care by daily practice works. And this isn't just about journaling or meditating, but living in this embodiment of value, of honor, of trust. It comes down to being able to trust yourself. If you can't keep your word with yourself, you are setting yourself up to fail. You are self-sabotaging. Now, we do this for a number of reasons, and I'm not going to go in there because honestly, it's probably something to work out with a therapist, which I highly suggest everyone do. Therapy is amazing. We all have our baggage and our blocks, but know that who you are meant to be is not this person in chaos, is not this person who is judging, is not this person who is angry. That is coming from outside of us. So when you feel these urges of frustration and annoyance, get silent. Create space, go for a walk, turn the noise off, leave your phone at home, and just be. Be okay being you. We don't need fancy electronics. We don't need apps to tell us we're okay. You are okay. Even though you don't feel okay, it's okay to not feel okay. But when we try to shortcut it, when we try to rush it through, when we try to hack it, undoubtedly, we haven't learned the lesson. We haven't gone through it. So this is where we all need to be comfortable in the discomfort, because that's where the growth is. And resolutions try to fast track it. They try to say, well, when you do these 5 things for this long, then everything's going to be better. And while that may change the behavior, if you haven't done the mindset work, if you haven't really cleaned up what's going on inside, they're just tactics, and undoubtedly they will fall off. So first focus on who you are, on what you want for you, on the legacy you want to create, on your intentions, and then get really deliberate. Get deliberate with your actions. If things don't work for you, stop doing them. If things do work for you, do it. It is that simple. And we forget it because we listen to others. I know you're listening to me right now, but I want you to listen to yourself. I want you to get curious with yourself. I want you to get excited about the discomfort and what you're going to learn from the process. I want you to write. I want you to step away from your screen. Stop reading the self-help books and thinking that that's going to solve you. You can solve you. You might get inspired from them, but I want you to convert it into your own action. I want you to convert it into your own nugget of knowledge. And that is the key to all of this. It's got to be for you. It's got to work for you. No one else can tell you how to live your life. You know your truth. But not everybody is ready to see it. Because it's painful sometimes. In fact, most times it's painful to see the truth. So once you're ready to work through the discomfort, I promise you on the other side is some amazingness. So I'm wishing you all a happy new year, happy holidays, whatever you're celebrating. You're probably not with loved ones. I hope that you're reaching out to people and connecting and expressing in the way that you need to. I hope that you're spending some real quality, quiet time with yourself and doing some journaling, some creativity, getting your body moving. And we'll see you next year in 2021. And you guys keep being awesome.